meet Matthew Aaron Van Dyke, the man who cultivated the image of a modern-day soldier of fortune. His social media was filled with dramatic videos from conflict zones, tactical drills, combat gear, armored vehicles, and footage of him working alongside armed groups across the world. He described himself as a security analyst, war correspondent, documentary filmmaker, and founder of Sons of Liberty International, an organization that claimed to train local forces fighting authoritarian regimes. Whether in Libya, Iraq, or Ukraine, Van Dyke projected himself as a man who thrived in war, advising militias and teaching modern battlefield tactics. From a mercenary, this is Matthew Van Dyke now, facing law in India for training groups linked to anti-India insurgency. Investigators say Van Dyke's own online footprint became a crucial piece of evidence. Videos and photographs allegedly showed him conducting tactical exercises, drone warfare demonstrations, firearms training, and military instruction for armed groups operating in Myanmar. According to the National Investigation Agency, these are not merely survival workshops or security seminars. The agency alleges that Van Dyke and his associates trained ethnic armed organizations in Myanmar that maintain links with banned insurgent outfits operating in India's northeast. The investigation also alleges that the network supplied drones, weapons, and military hardware while providing specialized instruction in guerrilla warfare and modern combat techniques. The investigation culminated in a coordinated crackdown in March 2026. Van Dyke was arrested at Kolkata airport while 6 Ukrainian nationals were simultaneously detained from Delhi and Lucknow. According to the NIA, the group had entered India on tourist visas before traveling to Assam and Mizoram and then allegedly crossing illegally into Myanmar. The agency reveals that they conspired to carry out terrorist activities against India by training armed groups and facilitating drone operations connected to organizations hostile to India's security interests. They have been booked under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and other relevant provisions. The accused deny any wrongdoing. Following his arrest on the 13th of March, Van Dyke has initially questioned in NI custody before being remanded to judicial custody since April 2026. The latest chapter in the case unfolded in a Delhi court this week. Van Dyke appeared before the Patiala House Court in a wheelchair after claiming that a prolonged hunger strike had severely weakened him. In his petition, he stated that he has refused prison food since 6th May, alleging that the standard meals served inside Tihar are too spicy, oily, deep-fried, and greasy for someone accustomed to an American diet. According to his plea, he has lost nearly 14 kilograms, developed vision problems, and suffered a significant decline in strength and immunity because he has been unable to consume regular prison meals. Van Dyke is presently housed in Tihar Jail's high-security complex, where inmates charged under anti-terror laws and other serious offences are commonly lodged, under enhanced security arrangements, that is. His movements and access remain governed by prison rules applicable to under-trial prisoners facing grave national security charges. The 6 foreign nationals arrested alongside him are Ukrainians identified by investigators as Hurba Petro, Sliviak Taras, Ivan Sakmanovsky, and Stefan Kiev Marian, Honcharuk Maxim, and Kaminsky Victor. According to the NIA, at least 14 Ukrainian nationals had entered India on tourist visas as part of the broader network under investigation. The controversy has also thrown the spotlight on what prisoners eat inside India's largest prison. Tihar Jail generally serves a standard vegetarian menu prepared in central kitchens. Breakfast typically includes tea with bread or porridge, while lunch and dinner consist of rotis, rice, dal, and seasonal vegetables. On designated days, inmates may also receive items such as khichdi, soya bean preparations, or paneer, depending on the approved prison menu. The meals are designed to meet nutritional norms laid down under the Delhi prison rules rather than individual culinary preferences. Van Dyke, however, has asked the court for an extraordinary concession. He wants permission to prepare his own meals using an induction stove and kitchen utensils at his own expense. His shopping list includes chicken, fish, shrimp, pasta, Uncooked rice, potatoes, onions, beans, olive oil, butter, bread, toned milk, soya milk, bottled water, and various spices. He argues that only such a diet can protect his health and allow him to recover from the effects of his prolonged hunger strike. The court has sought a response from Tihar Jail authorities before deciding the plea. The contrast is striking. A man who once projected himself online as an international mercenary, traveling across battlefields, training armed groups, and living a life defined by military adventure, now finds himself in a prison cell arguing over pasta, shrimp, and olive oil. Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee, former diplomat, with us on the program. Ambassador Mukherjee, always a pleasure having you. Ma'am, what do you make of this case? You know, somebody who's planning to harm India, acting against India's interest, living in an Indian jail and making these demands. What goes through your mind, ma'am, when you see such cases?
Well, I find it actually very strange and very ironical that a mercenary who has been living, I presume, under extremely difficult conditions, training people for unlawful activities, including drone operations, young people, in inhospitable areas, including the border between Myanmar and India, etc., etc. Was he getting his shrimps and his pasta and his all the rest of this long list you read out to me? Was he getting that over there? How was he surviving? If he has a genuine health problem, the correct procedure for him would have been to seek an appointment with the prison doctor and ask the prison doctor to prescribe a vegetarian Indian diet which would be suitable for somebody who's not Indian and who's not used to spicy food. That is not a problem. Many foreigners have lived in Tihar Jail. Tihar Jail has had a long list, in fact, of foreigners, including a famous Frenchman, if you remember, who was released many years later. And they all adjusted to the food. In fact, he is trying to give the impression that the food which is in Tihar Jail is unhygienic and not good for the health, which is not true at all. It is actually cooked by the prisoners themselves who had some experience in cooking. Many of them opt for kitchen duty. So I don't sympathize with his claims at all. I think the prison doctor should present a report to the court on whether his claims are genuine or not, and the prison doctor should prescribe a prison diet which would keep him going, but where he would have to have what is normal standard prison fare. He should have thought of all that before he embarked on this life of mercenary activity. If his name is Van Dyke, then he would be of Dutch origin. Matthew Van Dyke is a typical Dutch name. I really wonder if he has a US passport or a Dutch passport. But be that as it may, I don't have any sympathy for his extended dietary requirements. I'm sure the court will turn it down, and I'm sure the court will rule the way I'm saying, which is we are not unreasonable people. If you have a medical problem, let the prison doctor tell the court what medical problem he has and prescribe the food accordingly. I am unable to understand how he can think that in Tihar Jail he can have pasta and shrimps and he should also be asked one very important question, Beneath. The food served in American jails is atrocious for both Americans and non-Americans. I remember when I was posted in New York City doing human rights in 86, 89, way back, there used to be such horrendous complaints about the kind of food regularly served in US, because the Americans, like the Brits, have no cuisine at all except Indian and Chinese food. They serve the most horrendous food, unhealthy food, high fat food, which makes the person who going through an extended prison sentence either develop diabetes or cholesterol or whatever. He should be thankful that he is in Tihar Jail, which encourages prisoners to do meditation, yoga, group therapy sessions, etc., etc., and not in United States, which has the most vicious and brutal prison system with the most horrible, terrible American food, which does would not pass any standard of any cuisine anywhere in the world. He should be told this if he is American. If he is coming from Netherlands, they have better food in Dutch prisons than they have in American prisons. But I think you said he's an American mercenary, so he must have spent his time in the U.S. Training with the CIA or whatever, because all these American mercenaries are trained by the CIA. He must have been trained by the American CIA. Vineet.
Basil Mukherjee, always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much.